So we're on. All right. Well, so ladies, the reason why we got to do this video blog is because everyone keeps asking me what the name of our blog is all about. So I say, "Hey, check us out. Three therapists walk into a blog." And I just had a friend
Hey,
who was like,
hey.
"Well, what do you what do you talk about therapy stuff?" And I was like, no, it's like three therapists walk into a bar, like you or just be like a fly on the wall, or even better, join us with a drink and join the conversation. And so I just want to take this opportunity to clear up to those of us who are faithful followers that you can tell your friends that it's just about having a conversation with three therapists after work. It's not getting therapy. It's not doing therapy. We're not experts on therapy. We're just fascinating people who have a lot of fascinating things to say.
Therapists
So
are
I just
fun.
wanted to clear the room, and not to mention, you don't have to go to a bar to get what I'm drinking.
Oh,
Ginger
hey.
ale. Ginger ale. I love it.
What do you have,
What
Sarah?
are
What do
you
you have?
drinking?
What are you drinking, Shauna?
I have my Cabernet Sauvignon. Sauvignon.
Cheers.
If your
No.
teeth turn gray, we'll know why.
They're
Oh, yeah,
already
your teeth
gray.
do turn gray.
Oh no, they look good.
It's deceiving. It's the lighting here.
Do they always turn gray? when you drink
Totally.
them?
Every time I
Really?
drink red wine.
Just red? That's awesome.
Just red.
Love it.
What do you have, Sarah?
And I got a little Mike's Hard lemonade. I'm actually double fisting because I also have. They don't really go together. But
What's the other one? What's the other
it's
one?
like my Izzy. I just love it. It's like my third one today. You know why I drink this is because it's like 2 servings of fruit.
That does not count as real fruit, Sarah.
That's what it says right here. But cheers.
Yes. So
Cheers,
is my orange juice and vodka in the morning. That counts as a fruit too.
You do not drink orange juice and vodka. Don't sound cooler than you really are.
It's because I couldn't remember the one that has the tomato in it.
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I couldn't remember.
You're hilarious.
It's funny because you talked about just like people coming in and being a fly on the wall and sitting and at a bar with three therapists who walk into a bar, and I wonder who would really want to sit down at the table with three therapists. That sounds a little scary.
Totally, we're fun. Therapists are fun.
Mostly because you have to be fun to be a therapist, right? I mean, you have to have a certain kind of personality because otherwise, you listen to people and struggles. So you gotta have a good personality.
We're fun, damn it.
And good teeth. That's the other thing you have to have. Let's see. You have to be what I like to call a warrior to be a therapist.
Stop! Someone is drawing on me.
Or it's
I
not.
must ask you a question. Look at like all of you.
And then sometimes you also have to dive deep. You gotta go deep.
People are gonna think we've really been drinking at a bar.
I am drinking.
Drinking ginger ale.
I have been drinking ginger ale. That's why my teeth are so bad.
Put them away, children. Put them away.
Okay, all right, let's get serious. Is there something we need to talk about?
Well, we put it out there for people just to kind of see what they would want to know if we were sitting in a bar. And they asked what we would be reading. What are we reading right now? Well, not at a bar we wouldn't be reading, but what are we reading right now?
That would be boring if we were reading at a bar. No one
would.
Book club at a bar.
Book club at a bar.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Krista, what are you reading?
I'm reading. Shauna gave me this book this summer to help me celebrate being finally finished with all my 5 years of licensure work. So it's Elizabeth Gilbert's The Signature of All Things. I am about just over halfway through, so I'm getting to the juicy part where there's a relationship that gets good. I mean, the whole thing's good, but this part's the juicy part.
Like
So I don't want to,
50 Shades good or different?
Completely different. This is more like it feels like the kind of book that you read in high school where you had to really know the characters and like what kind of portraits being presented about them and that kind of thing. It's got a lot more staying power than 50 Shades.
I know, I must
read
say.
Danielle Steele in high school.
What?
Okay. I thought you had to be like 40 and well, never
I
mind.
think they were on my mom's bookshelf, so I just read them.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. It makes sense that a 16-year-old was raiding her mother's bookshelves for some Danielle Steele.
I feel like I must backtrack and say I do not think 50 Shades was good. I do not think it was good.
Oh, you're just going on the record with that?
Just totally on the record. Just have to put that out there. There'll be more.
Hey, just to put it out there on the record, I've never even read Danielle Steele, and I bet it's not good.
Oh gosh.
My apologies to the public who still continues to read Danielle Steele.
Is it Fabian? What's his name? Fabio? Fabulous.
You tell us, Sarah.
Fabulous Fabio. Shauna, what are you reading besides?
I'm not reading Danielle Steele. I am currently reading a couple of books, one from Shauna Niequist. I think that's how you say her last name. But then the one that I'm really, really digging is this one by Sue Monk Kidd and her daughter. They co-authored it together. It's called Traveling with Pomegranates. And it's really just it's a memoir type book, but it's looking at like a mother and daughter. Like the mother, Sue Monk Kidd, is approaching menopause and dealing with some health issues, and just the sense of like where she's at in her career after she's poured years into her career. Where is she now, and has she come to the end of her creativity, or is there more life to be birthed even as she's approaching menopause? And then her daughter, who's struggling post college to figure out who she is and what her calling is in life. And so it's kind of going back and forth, and it's a little bit about their relationship, but it's a lot about just the journey of womanhood. So it's a really great, fascinating book, especially because I'm kind of in the middle of both of those like bookends. Not bookends, that makes it sound like menopause is the end of our life, which I do not think that, but just kind of that full spectrum experience of womanhood. So I'm really loving it. A lot of people know Sue Monk Kidd from The Secret Life of Bees or Dance of the Dissident Daughter. I really loved her book, The Mermaid Chair.
Didn't you just post a quote from her,
Yeah.
her, The Secret Life of Bees?
Yeah.
About stories? Yeah,
Yes.
I love that book.
Yes, I really like her. And she's been on Oprah a couple times. Like, I know a Super Soul Sunday she was on, and a lot of women know her from Dance of the Dissident Daughter, at least women who maybe had like a Christian upbringing and then started to have some feminist inklings or questions. A lot of people have read. She's most known, I think, in Christian circles for that book.
I think if any of our readers were interested in in her as an author, to start with The Secret Life of Bees, because I feel like that for me started to catalog why story is so important.
Absolutely.
And what it means in the lives of young and old, but also the tradition of storytelling. And
absolutely.
It was a good one. Sarah, what are you reading?
I'm reading Gone Girl right now. Started it when I was on vacation, and I'm sure I really wanted to go to the movie theater to watch it, but I need to finish the book first, so I'm sure it'll be out on video.
Is it crazy intense?
What's that?
Is it really intense?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's good stuff. I'm only like halfway through it. So.
Exciting.
I like that. I like being able to read a book and then it feels like either way. I like what I've done before is I've gone and seen a movie. Like the first time I saw Memoirs of a Geisha, I went and saw the movie, and then I was so intrigued by the whole plot line and the characters that then I read the book because it's like I wanted to know more about it. It was the same way with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Saw the movie, was so intrigued by that whole story and the characters that then I read the 500-page tome that followed it and the second and third books after it. So sometimes I need the movie to wet my whistle.
Totally.
Yikes.
Totally.
I am like,
I'm gonna go see that movie, and then I'll tell you what it's about, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't, you know.
Then I don't have to finish the rest of the book. I can get back to my Danielle Steele.
Oi.
I think that's weird. I think I thought every like
Nope.
high school graduate in the 18.
I wasn't
like,
allowed.
1990s. No.
I
wasn't
did
allowed to
read
read that
romance
much.
novels, but they were not Danielle Steele. I actually don't know who they were. Maybe I should go back and figure out. That would explain a lot of things in my life.
You know what? I think
I
I
also
would
watched
say-
Days of Our Lives from like the age of like 9.
Yeah, see, I think I was banned from reading Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, because it talked about too much of that kind of stuff. That's what it's like growing up.
Growing up what? Growing up what?
In some church denomination / backgrounds, Beverly clearly is a problem.
Oh boy. So Harry Potter would not have been on your to read list.
No, he wouldn't have been.
And certainly not 50 Shades.
You know, it just is a spoiler, like not a spoiler alert, but another tip for anybody who's interested is if you love to read, but you just don't have time, but you're spending a lot of time in the car, is what Carl and I used to do is listen to Harry Potter on tape. That's dating us because that was probably back in like 2000 when they were on cassette tape. But the guy who reads them as audiobooks does all the voices of all the characters in all of the books all by himself.
That's how it is for The Lord of the Rings.
So impressive. I mean, he goes from a witch to Hermione to Harry, like back and forth.
And it's one person?
And one person does the whole entire thing. It is like seriously a work of art just listening to him and his voices. I want to take lessons.
I want to take lessons. I have screaming in my household right now, and I don't know why.
Uh-oh. Do you need to go check?
I don't know.
If you do go check, Sean and I will talk about you behind your back.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, well, let's keep going. But all right, so then other people wrote in. What we found interesting was there was a lot of questions or just comments around community and like how we form connection and where we find community and how that plays a role in our lives. What do you guys think? Community. Shauna, let's start with you.
Why me? Because I'm
Yeah.
probably the most outside of community at this point, out of the three of us.
That's not true. What do you mean?
Oh, I totally think that's true. Both of you are still involved. Not still, as though your exodus is about to happen, but both of you are involved in a church community presently, and I'm not. Really? Mustache?
I didn't mean to do that.
Right above my...
It won't go away. It's just right there. Sorry. Okay. So, church. Yeah, but that's not necessarily.
No, I mean, Go
I
ahead,
was going to
Chris.
say, I can speak from an extrovert standpoint, is that I've never been outside.
You're an extrovert?
A little bit. According to Myers-Briggs, a.k.a. Carl Jung, I am technically an extrovert, yeah.
Right.
But I think the reason why I can speak to it is because as an extrovert, I've never really been without community because I can't. I think verbally, I process verbally, I get energy from other people. I feel like I have a lot more life after a party than when I went to start out with. So I honestly think that my personality, my personhood would atrophy if I weren't around people.
Really?
So, yeah, so pretty much by necessity, I've had to find community. And so it just so happens that I have always had the church, and I've always had people from the church or been a part of a church. And when I wasn't actively a part of a church for about 4 years here in Seattle, I was a part of a seminary. So that's where I find common themes and people and that kind of thing. But I mean, I honestly, I don't, I've had to figure out ways to find community. And so I would say sort of that I do it naturally, but it's not just that. It's like I have to do it. So whether that's finding a friend from school who would go on a walk with me in between classes, just because I couldn't almost think about the material on my own. I had to be talking about it in order to metabolize it. Or whether that was just finding someone when I was in Colorado. Colleen, my friend Colleen, used to walk with me 5 nights a week when I was struggling with postpartum depression and just at home with an infant all day. She would walk with me at night because I
And
needed
did
to be
you
able
need to process like what was going on, or did you just need somebody there?
Yeah, no, I didn't need to process. I mean, I don't think I'm sure it did. I'm sure that came up, just my daily life and things, but it wasn't like I needed somebody to help me or rescue me or tell me what to do. I just needed like I call it echolocation. Like I need to be able to put my words out there, and when they bounce off of other people, that's where I know how to almost find myself. And so I have to find community, and it's just been a way of I'm trying to think about ways that I've done it, but mostly it's been through church or work or school, or someone that I've had to do something with regularly. Like I worked with the same person in my internship for 3 years, so we had that as a common ground. So I feel like I wouldn't I wouldn't know what to do it. I wouldn't know how to do life without community because of my extroversion, really.
What do you think about people who maybe are extroverted but have trouble finding a place where they can garner a sense of connection?
Yeah, because we got a lot of questions like around like people who really desire community, like maybe they see that as a need in their life, maybe they're an extrovert or whatever, but they lack having it in their life right now. So they have that desire there, but they lack it.
Mm. Well, I had a really good experience with someone at school who I just invited people to do what I was already doing. So I had time in between classes and I couldn't sit still. I couldn't just sit there and study more, or I couldn't go to a coffee shop and just sit. I had to be moving. So I would walk down along the water, and I found people who did it with me. I'd be putting my coat on in class with my purse or whatever. Like I was walking out the door and they'd be like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go walk down on the water." And they'd be like, and I'm like, "You want to come?" And they'd be like, "Sure." Or I would walk around the lake, and this happened just last week. I walk around the lake 3 or 4, maybe 5 times a week, and if people are in my neck of the woods, I'll just say, "I'm going anyway. Would you like to come with me?" And most of the time, they're like, "Sure." Or that's how it was with Colleen. I needed to walk anyway, and she was like, she already ran in the morning. She'd run like 6 miles in the morning, and then at night she'd go walk 3 with me, just because I was going anyway. And so I think
you're very intentional about making it happen.
I
Or is it just like air to breathe? You just need it.
I need it, but I think it's I'm gonna get it anyway. I'm gonna get I'm gonna do what I need to do in that sense anyway. But I guess the intentionality would be inviting others to join with me and being able to say, I'm already good. Just last week, I asked a friend, I was like, I'm already going to do my grocery shopping. I've got to go to Costco and Target. Do you want to come with me? I have a minivan now. Hallelujah. So we can both fit our groceries in the back of the car. She was like,
that got stolen.
No, that's not the one that got stolen. So we just went and did our grocery shopping together. So it's like, I just say, I'm already going someplace to somebody. I'm already going to go get coffee. I'm already going to go on a bike ride. I'm already going to go walking. You want to come with me? So I guess it's doing what you already love to do. So that way it's not work.
Yeah.
I think there's too much pressure if you don't normally go for a walk and then you're like, ask somebody, "Hi, do you want to go for a walk or something?" And then
I don't normally
like,
go grocery shopping. So
there you go. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. So, but I mean, that one time there was a group of girls who all watched Gilmore Girls when that was on separately, and so it was just like, "Hey, we're already watching it. Do you want to do it together?" And then it became a Tuesday night thing. somebody would make cookies, we'd all go over to their house and watch Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
So
lovely.
I think it's really hard if you're not already doing it. Then it feels like a lot of pressure, and everybody's awkward because they don't know where to walk because they've never gone that path before, or they don't know what coffee shop to go to because that's not what they normally do. So that would be mine.
I think it's hard though for people too because there's different types of community, right? And like I don't know that, I know I withdrew from some of the church community groups and stuff for a while. We just kind of took a break. Just I don't know. I think I just wanted to be intentional about what kind of community I was desiring, like what I needed or desired in community. And some of the, like, just walk to walk, I don't know that that's, what I desire. I desire more, like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
I can, because I think, Krista speaking a little bit more from the extroversion side, where it seems like there's never been a season where you've been like really outside of the embrace of community on some level. And so it's just always continues to be a rhythm in your life. But I think like I am an ENFJ, so I am like, but I'm only for the extroversion, I'm only like a 3 points on the extroversion, which they said basically is like you have to throw that out because I'm so like it's like if you're 5, less than 5 on extroversion or less than 5 on introversion, you're really kind of an anomaly there. You can't put yourself in one category or the other. But I tend to function, I think, a little bit more as an introvert in terms of where I derive my energy is either some time alone reading or writing or time just one-on-one with someone. But I've learned and developed the skills to be extroverted when I need to be. So I think that's why I kind of don't get measured well in that scale. But so kind of more from an introversion, probably like relational model for me. Like I think about how like I definitely feel like, and part of it too is probably just the nature of my life. I have 4 kids and I work and I have a husband who works and that and the stage of life where I'm at where my kids are now spanning from like toddlerhood through adolescence, like into high school. Like when my kids were really little and they could just come with me and I could set up a play date or go be with other moms who all our kids were in the same stage and we could just hang out while all our kids did the same thing and they did what we wanted them to do. That was a little bit, it was built into life a little bit more. Now when my kids fill up so much of my life and their needs and taking care of them and getting them to and from, like my life now is running along parallel with their lives versus their lives being kind of in behind me, like I'm the mama, duck and they're all my little chicks following me. It's not like that anymore. So therefore I have limited time where I could actually get something in return or get some connection. And so I have to be far more intentional about that. And so
I think,
so that looks like, I've been afforded, Sarah, we've been afforded the opportunity to know each other on a slightly deeper level. And so my time, the limited time that I have physically to be in the presence of another is usually spent for an afternoon or a morning or a day with you. There isn't a whole lot of other space in my life for that. And so, but I do think and dream about, because I know that's probably not enough. I know I probably need more. I know Brian and I probably need that more as a couple even. I believe my kids need more of that outside of their relationships that just naturally come from school or the activities that they're involved in. So I mentioned earlier, I think that I've also been reading some books by Shauna Niequist, and one of her books, Bread and Wine, is one of my favorites because she talks about the table being the place where community can happen. There's something about food and there's something about gathering around a table, sitting there and because it's almost like just acknowledging that we all need nourishment. We all need, whether that's figuratively or literally, to be human means we need nourishment. We need to be fed. And there's something about being fed together and feeding one another, providing that space for one another. And then just the the reality of what happens when we gather around the table. We eat, we experience pleasure in what we're eating, we talk with one another, we're doing something together, which I think is kind of the concept of Krista's walks. Like there's something about doing something together. And so I love the concept of intentionally having, you know, a cooking group or a group that gathers around the table, or I don't know, there's something about food. And so there's desire there for me around what that could look like, but figuring out time-wise how that works in my life at this stage is another thing altogether.
That's hard. Yeah, I think you hit it for me too when you were talking about when your time is so limited, and that's how I feel like ours is too. I'm just really intentional about the community I desire. So I kind of stepped away from those more like superficial, you know, kind of like forced groups to get to know you. And I'm just more intentional about the ones that I like with you, Shauna, and you, Krista, with this blog and stuff about like, that's where I want to be really intentional about fostering those relationships right now. But I like the way that I like what Krista was saying about, you know, thinking kind of outside the box and making it happen, because easily you could invite people to do that, you know, the grocery shopping and get it there as well. So I like it. I think what I recognized when I was going through some of these questions that people wrote down was that I think we wrestle with the exact same questions, you know, and I think that's what's so beautiful about kind of clarifying the name of our blog, is that we aren't the experts and that we are kind of going through this as well. So when I was reading all these questions, I'm like, oh, I struggle with that. Oh, that's me. So I think that's what's beautiful about this.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Let's keep doing it.
All right. Cheers.
All right.
You and your ginger ale. Seriously.
Could you take a swig of that again, please, for our viewing pleasure?
Well, speaking of time, we probably, the three of us, as moms with collective, what do we have? 10 children between the three of us?
Or, yes, that's right.
Let's shoot for once a month. What do you think?
I like it. This has been
cool.
Sounds good.
It's my community.
Yeah, we're going to start there.
Vlog.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Yes, just tell everyone, start a vlog. We're here.
There you go.
There's the community.
Yeah. Okay. 2 other people talk over Skype, and that's going to be how it gets built.
Google Plus. Google Plus. We have to put the plug in. Google Plus.
Google Plus, not Skype. All right, cool.
Love you, girl.
Love you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.